There we go. I do believe we are live, so I'll say, indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again. I am literally sweaty with the amount of sticks I threw at that tree to try and get that bug to STFU, and he doesn't want to. He's screaming so loud. He's like filling half of my freaking audio bar. I literally 3 of my sticks are stuck in that tree right now. It's driving me a little bit nutty, but I'm sweating right now because of my efforts to try and get it to shut up, which is not something I planned for. So I'm going to go and wet my scarf now, and then we'll come back and have a conversation about today's stream topic. Today's stream topic is about sensory overload, informational overload. And I feel like maybe this bug being unwilling to shut the fuck up is the universe trying to teach me a lesson. All right, you want to see the efforts I've been trying? I've been doing this. These sticks that I fell have come off of the tree. Watch, now it's gonna instantly shut off. Or not. Nothing. It's like, no, fam. Yeah! That one did it. For a second, at least. Yeah! Yeah, we got it to shut up! Hey, Sam, I told you there was fruitless endeavor. My stepdad has a rifle that shoots salt. He says it's super effective against bugs. I saw one of those this weekend, Sam. The thing is, I don't see the bug that is screaming. So I'll end up missing him over and over again because he's hiding too well. I'll do so, and then I'll do like such. A bunch of these spider lilies are opening up. I don't think they'll look nice for long if I do this, but I'll do it anyway. I'll do it anyway. Yeah, it looks instant wilt. They barely last long on the actual plants, so I shouldn't be too surprised. This is the way. Got my little spider lily. Got my wet scarf. Got my bleeding toes. And now we got ourselves set up. Yeah, this works. I approve. Let me get my chat open so I can be a little bit more present with you friends. And then we'll get into talking about today's stream topic, informational overload. So to introduce it, I have been thinking a lot about the psychedelic state of mind today. Because usually, at the end of the year, I take some psychedelics to readjust, to consider how far I've come, to pay attention a little bit to my own inner workings and whatever I'm kind of avoiding. And last year, I did 4.44 grams of mushrooms, and it was a beautiful experience. Very, very direct of an experience. Like the experience kind of didn't hold back, gave me exactly what I needed to hear in that moment, which is something that I really appreciated. But it was a lot. I did, in the meanwhile, take a little bit of mushrooms again. God, freaking bug. I did take a little bit again, but not the dosage I want to take today. And I can feel that anxiety, that pre-trip anxiety kind of like bubbling up in my being. And it's definitely influencing me already. And as I've been thinking about this, I've been thinking about how when you're in that psychedelic informational state, there's so much information coming into your system at the same time that you end up losing other sets of information. Sets of information that are not exactly as important, right? For instance, maybe you're in a psychedelic state of mind and you're thinking about your life and you're thinking about your relationships and about the things that you want to do in this world and na 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 na, etc., etc. Right? You're in that state of mind, and you decide to go and lay on your bed. And on your bed, there's a bunch of blankets. Maybe some of them are a little bit, squished together. Maybe there's a pillow in the way, and you can go and lay down on that bed with your back to all of these furls, of all of these pillows, of all of these uneven surfaces. And you'll still be relatively comfortable, right? Like, at least not initially. The information won't register that you're laying on an uneven surface, and that if you continue laying on this surface, it will become uncomfortable eventually, right? And I kind of like ran with that situation, that circumstance, where you are in a state of being as a human being, so open, so aware, so receiving of the universe, that you end up losing parts of the information that you are actively experiencing right now. Like, in simple terms, the unevenness of your bed when laying down, or maybe there's some sand right in the bed, but because you're in that state of mind, you're not really concerned with the sand necessarily. And to think of that like extending into the rest of our reality as well, I feel like the informational overload we're being faced with right now is very much the internet, right? Like, that's our current informational overload. And you don't really have to take psychedelics to get there. And in fact, you cannot not be there, right? Technically, you can stop using your cell phone, but your cell phone, at least at this point in time, comes with you wherever you go. So you have access to informational overload wherever you go. And we do access that informational overload instead of actually being aware of our day-to-day worlds, where if you find yourself bored, you'll sit and use your cell phone for who knows how long. Hey, puppy. I'm gonna throw sticks at that freaking bug again. I know roughly the spot I hit the previous time, so this might be a little bit quicker. Let's see if I can hit it. I want you to be quiet, bug. You make way too much noise, yo. Please shut the fuck up. You're making so much noise. Nada. Oh, bro. I keep stepping in thorns because this is technically a thorn tree, and I'm knocking sticks of thorns loose, and then I end up stepping in them. Get my slippers quickly. Okay. Nada. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Bug. I appreciate you. Is that it? Your face is growing a fungus. Does it look like a fungus growing out of my face? Good. I shall commune with the fungi. I need to become one of them. I need to sneak into the party looking like I'm one of them. Otherwise, they'll jump me and try to teach me things. Morning, friends and fam. I am no longer sweaty from fever, but somehow still feel like I got hit by a truck. At least in my mind, that means you're getting better. Sending you blessings, Joy Vive. I'm sorry that you're still going through it. An assault rifle. Yeah, I think they call this South African brand a bug assault. I think it's something like that. The freaking assault rifles works great. They only work for flies though, at least from as far as I've seen. I don't think you're hitting mosquitoes with them. I've only seen flies getting wrecked. I don't also think this bug would not be too bothered by me firing, small flecks of sand, salt at it, right? The shirt makes pretty flowers. It does. Like these little shapes, when they become extruded, they become like beehive, I agree. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm also looking forward to today's flower. It's gonna be a double one, so it's gonna be like folded onto its folded. Hello, Sam the Wise, lovely Louisiana, Joy Fever without a fever, Coolio Christos, Mr. Melt, and more. Blessed to you, Zhao. So nice seeing you. Bugs always, Park of Wind, they smell lavender. It's my best outdoorsy tip. I mean, we have a lavender bush right there. I don't know what the area of effect is, right? I don't know if it necessarily works directly like that. Like if I rub a bunch of lavender on this tree, are there going to be less bugs on it? How would I quantify that? Like I'm imagining having sensors, right? Camera slash infrared sensors right around the base of the tree. I will have a hard time detecting the ones that actually end up flying into the tree, but I might be able to properly store all of the entries, by imagery. Part of me also wants to like rub the lavender on myself. Does it repel the mosquitoes as well? I'm curious. They're just for houseflies that get in the house, exactly. CO2 salt pistol is a straight up blaster. I've never seen a CO2 one. I think the ones I've seen are kind of like powered by a fear. What do you call that in English? Like a spring, I guess, but not a spring. It's like a spring, but not a spring. I mean, we could just say spring. It's basically a spring. I think the ones I've been using has been powered by springs, not CO2. CO2 salt pistol sounds like a blaster. Hey Joe, nice having you here, bro. Sending you blessings, man. Let's read something worth saying. Then I'll partake of a little bit of cannabis, and then we'll see where today's stream topic takes us. Bringing it back again. Informational overload. Right. So instead of overloading ourselves with information, let's choose intentionally what information we want to be participating within. This one feels like it could fit. Embrace yourself as a ceaseless creator and assume responsibility for everything that comes into your field of awareness. Right? And even if you are being informationally overloaded, to embrace yourself as a ceaseless creator, to acknowledge that even if this informational overload we are participating within might be a little bit overloady, we are still technically choosing, right? And again, to think of it from the perspective of love is true, what would you rather have? Informational overload or a void of information, right? Would you rather have fullness or emptiness? And I like how this thing goes directly with like all events are neutral and creation is forever new. What creates experience is how you decide to view the events that come up in your life. What do I choose to communicate to the world? For we are ceaselessly teaching the world what we believe holds the greatest value. Right? Information, again, the information overload as well. We are ceaselessly teaching the world that which we believe holds the greatest value. Your life shall become that which demonstrates to many the truth that only love is real. Hot damn, that's the one. That's the information I was looking for. Yeah. Lesson 10. What fire? It goes starting. My desire is to know the truth that can set all of mankind free. Don't live like you are imprisoned in your body, for your life shall become that which demonstrates to many the truth that only love is real. For I am as you are, and I commit myself to teaching only love by sharing only loving thoughts. As I look upon the world, I judge myself, and as I look upon myself, I judge the world. The world can give you nothing, just as the world can't take anything from you. How, in this day, may I extend the treasures of the good, the holy, and the beautiful, and in doing so experience life as an ongoing flowering mystery. Yourself is what God created. Choose to express love in each moment. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, and it is a choice. And it is the very power of choice. Oh, yo, I forgot that line. What a fire line that is. Yeah, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and it is the very power of choice. How about that? Yeah, that feels like a whole stream topic waiting, so I'm gonna close it up. I'm gonna close it up. Joe, Mel, Jovan, Sam, Joy V, Christos, Bless, Lozana, Melty. These are basic truth tenets for sure. Life can be magical when viewed through the proper lenses. It's good to remind ourselves, dude. Like I'm going to expand my lens a little bit today. And I'm terrified. Like I'm actually terrified. I don't know why I'm terrified. Maybe I'm just very aware of this experience that I'm now kind of like awaiting. I know it's gonna be in part uncomfortable. Yeah. So it's good that I get to have these reminders. Love is true. I'm going to embrace a little bit of white rhino. Say hi to Mary Jane. I've been working on plant things on my side. I've been building cages for when my plants become too heavy. I've been digging out old standing heaps of poop. I've been expanding cocoa core to keep my soil nice and arid. And I feel a part of myself becoming alive, which is kind of curious to me. You know, last year I didn't grow any plants at all. And I'm wondering about that now. Like last year, I'm saying last year, but I should say this year. This year, which is basically over, I don't know, I felt a sense of like, wah, to say it in so many words. Like I didn't want to. I didn't want to put in the effort. I didn't want to deal with the anxiety. I feel like the year before this year, I lost a bunch of plants, you know, to wind and to mold and to like just breakage. My literal branches being so heavy, they snap off my plants. And then I show up the next day to find my colas in the ground, completely covered in mud because it was raining the night as well. So as the drops fell next to it, it would like splash mud over the colas. That messed with me a little bit, I do believe. But now coming back into it, seeing who I am, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but within the stream topic of informational overload, seeing who I am when I am interfacing with that information, the information of like mixing dirt, right? Mixing, you know, composted cow poop, mixing some of our local, you know, heavy soil. Our soil is super heavy. Like you could add like a little bit of lime and it would probably become bricks, like that heavy. You know, it's bad kind of. So I'm adding like half basically cocoa core. Like it's two two like little scoops cocoa core, 2 scoops decomposed cow manure, and 1 scoop of our local soil. And like while I'm mixing my stuff, like the amount of information being communicated to my brain and how I'm like considering the plants and how they would appreciate what I'm doing and the way the soil feels in my hands and pushing them into bowls and seeing if they're actually sticking to one another. If they still, you know, are a little bit flaky so that roots could still potentially penetrate them even if they're a little bit compacted. Like, and just noticing how this version of me that I am has like extra layers to him. And when I'm interfacing with certain sets of information, other pieces of information does get lost. Like I stop thinking about the world quite as much. I'm thinking about that moment, and I'm thinking about that pot, and I'm thinking about the plant that has to go in that pot, and I'm thinking about the time scale of the effort is going to have to go into that, and I'm thinking about, like it's almost granular. I don't even know how to explain it properly. And then as soon as I add our soil, like watching the soil become a little bit more sticky slash muddy, right? Like to the point where my push together, soil balls, like you don't do that permanently. It's like a test, if you will, become a little bit more sticky and a little bit harder to break apart. And like, I don't know what I'm trying to say other than to try and sum it up and say, I feel I am supposed to grow things, right? Like that's basically what I've been feeling. I have a big ass thorn sticking out of my foot right now, and I'm trying to see if I can get it with my nails, but I don't know if I'm gonna be that lucky. Should I go and get a piece of pair of tweezers? Fine, I'll do it quickly. Be right back. So maybe a way to turn the conversation on you, friends. What have you noticed that as soon as you get busy with it, as soon as you are participating with that set of information, it's almost like possible for you to get lost in it, right? Like that information, that set of information makes the rest of the information go away. The overwhelm, the trip, the experience of anxiety that we have of life. Right? Maybe this is another way to articulate what I've been feeling actually. As I'm working on these plants and as I'm working on the soil and conditioning it and considering the time frame that it's going to take for those things to grow into it and like imagining the roots and how much room they'll take and going through all of that stuff, technically what I'm also doing is giving myself very tangible hope, I guess, for the future, right? Where like it's not that I don't have hope for the future, quite the contrary. But this is very direct, you know, that if I don't do things right now and if I don't put in the effort I'm putting in right now, then one, my future self is going to be more uncomfortable. But also, two, this version of me gets to believe that there will be a future, right? There will be 60 days from now where I'll be, pruning my plants or whatever, and that 60 days from now version of me can only exist because of this version of me, right? And the information, if you will, because I do believe it's information, right? When you put dirt in bags, you're technically doing some sort of informational exchange. There's information in that soil, there's information in the way that you mixed it, there's information in the plant that you're going to put in it, and how that two informational sets are going to have to mesh with one another. It's a whole trip. If we are infinite artists of our existence, dance in the paint that covers your canvas. Enjoy your artwork. Bless you. Couldn't say it better myself, Chashma. Melty, you have much larger patch of garden, I assume, but I'm getting ready to turn the soil as well. Bless you, bro. Like the amount of dirt I've had underneath my fingernails, you can probably still see it, right? Like this is after I've spent hours trying to scrub it out of my fingernails, and I hate that. Like that is very much not something that I like. I don't like having dirty hands, and yet, working with this soil feels good. Like I can see my dirty ass hands. I can see them. But also I'm like, yeah, yeah. I am purposing right now. This is me purposing. I can feel this purpose. No, it looks extra pretty today. Joy of you, thank you. And it's the flower doing most of the work. Me with my itchy eye, being super self-conscious about it, being like, bruh, why you like this, dude? Why you doing this to me? See if my flower. My flower is probably getting a little bit wilted, but that was to be expected. I mean, it's doing better than I anticipated, to be completely honest. Let me give it some water. I don't know if this is gonna work, but sucky, sucky water. I'll go right back. Mm, that's nice. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it, Joy. We're having a cold snap here, so I'm waiting for a little better conducive temp. I vibe on gardening, brother. It's a deliberate and a direct influence on this ecosystem. We tend the soil and grow. As our plants grow, so do we, right? Like, weirdly enough, I think I was going through this as well a little bit, last year or the last time I was growing my plants. I tend to be very sensitive with my third eye. And this sounds so pompous and saying, so bear with me while I try to explain what I mean. Like, when I was growing plants, when I was in my meditative environment, when I would close my eyes and maybe even try to go to sleep, I would see these bud structures, right? Like, I would see the fractal that is a marijuana plant building these bud structures and it being this like I don't know how to explain this, but I would see that. I would like close my eyes and I would instantly, because I would be working on my plants, in the evening, just before I kind of like I would like finish stream and then instantly go to work on my plants, picking worms off and pruning and stuff like that. And there would be so much, work and all of the terpenes, like the smells coming off of your plants if they're growing outside like that is incredible. So I would be like super overwhelmed of all of that information, right? That informational overload. And then even when once I was away from it, I would still be going through that tumultuous like weed growing experience. And it's technically beautiful. But in my mind, I was getting tripped out a little bit, right? Because I felt at that point a little bit pompous with my third eye experience, where I was like, bro, I can see some cool things when I close my eyes. Right now, I'm seeing like Christmas trees, like dancing. They're spinning. They're like, imagine like it having like a ratchet spinner. So it goes up, clicks left, goes down, goes up, clicks left, goes down, right? And every single time it clicks left, it also has like branch layers that would like move up and down as well, like it was dancing. All right, so it was like chicka 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 chicka. Why would I see that right now? I guess it's Christmas or whatever, right? Maybe that's in the collective mind right now, and that's what I get to see. And then seeing cannabis plants alone, I felt in that time, that I was like losing something. I was like losing the wisdom or the visions I was supposed to be seeing, And then I, got apprehensive in growing more cannabis plants. And now, on the other side of it, specifically because I actually changed my relationship with bud, right? Like after this sober October, it felt like I came back a new person into the marijuana world. It does definitely help that I started vaping, So one, I started vaping. Two, because of the chamber of that vape, I started smoking significantly less, right? So normally, if I'm going to be smoking, I would be smoking joints, right? So now that's like technically 15 hits of that little vaporizer of mine in a single joint, right? So with that relationship with weed, it's not really that important how good the weed is, right? If you smoke a whole joint of pretty much any like modern weed, you're going to get high kind of vibe. And switching over to this, it made me very aware of how important the weed is on the small scale kind of vibe, right? And then buying a little bit of bud this year, bought myself some at High Grow, right? That was the first 2 grams that we smoked on stream together as well after the whole sober October. That completely changed my mind, specifically because of the vast difference, right? A part of me wishes I bought 2 grams of the lemon cheesecake instead of 1 gram, 1 gram, of the soap and the lemon cheesecake. And yet, if I really think about it, the lemon cheesecake I wanted 2 grams of instead because it was so good. And I would only know that it was so good in comparison to the cheesecake, which is also technically, primo bud, in that world. So it instantly made me very aware of the vast different strains and terpene profiles can make to my individual experience. And then in turn, and that's what it's about truly. In turn, how that experience influences you, friends, right? Because I do try and share that giddy energy with you, friends. So it became much more important to me. And then bought a bunch of other bud as well. Uh, Johan brought me some when they came through, and then I bought myself some bud now at the start of this month, technically speaking, right at the start of this month. And just noticing how there's like a vast difference, like sharing with my family as well, sharing with my dad. My dad has, like, me and my brother had this conversation about it where Ruto asked my dad, have you tried that little vaporizer of Estien's, dad? And I like instantly fall in and I'm like, yo, I'll buy a kid. Which is the director translates it like, of course, many times, right? He's tried it many times, And in that moment, I reacted that way because he was asking, has he ever used it? And in my mind, I know my dad has used it like 10 plus times, like literally. Like my dad loves this little vaporizer. He loves it so much, he's trying to make himself one. He refuses to buy one. So he's trying to make himself one. I'm kind of down. I'm kind of down to see him making one. I won't lie. It'll be fascinating, if you will. But he wants one as well right now, right? So like that's how nice of an experience it is. And now, last night me and my dad technically smoked together. I like gave him a puff and then he went back inside. The night before, it was me, my dad, and Rudo sitting together, and then like sharing the different strains of them and seeing, like the surprise in their faces when they try these different flavors and, seeing how these personal preferences, depending on the terpenes. It I don't know. It feels like a whole world that I've been in, but again with like the whole informational overload thing. It's almost like I didn't want to access or to interface with all of that information. I was kind of content with having like a shallow, a distant relationship kind of vibe, and it's nice to kind of like make it a little bit more personal. Farmer Melt, yeah, 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 tending the garden in hopes of new life and watching that life spring forth, partially due to your direct influence, is rewarding. Mm. Maybe it is that rewarding that I'm experiencing. Apparently, working with soil releases serotonin in your brain, so I'm definitely experiencing that part of it. There is some serotonin happening, but yeah, the dopamine of like a job well done. I bought myself like a big brick, like a 70-liter brick, like a brick this big, this wide, right? Like bigger than the size of my torso, brick of cocoa core. That wasn't enough, which in hindsight is obviously enough. Not enough, like not even remotely enough. I needed at least two of those bricks. So I kind of like only filled my bags halfway, but I'm trying to make like the bottom half a little bit stronger energetically, than the top half. So I'm experiencing that as well. Your dad is making his own vape, metalworking. Yeah, pretty much, Joy Vive. I mean, he's wants to. I don't know if he actually started, but he has come and taken a good look at mine. So you can see how all of the parts go together. And I'm like, yeah. And like that was his first thing, right? When he asked me what it costs, and I'm like, you're not gonna like this, bro. You're not gonna want to hear this. But to me, it's like a cup, right? If I'm going to be like a whiskey drinker or whatever, right? I'm gonna want to buy myself nice glasses, surely. If I'm going to be a tennis player, I'm gonna get myself a nice tennis rack because I'm gonna be using this thing, right? It's gonna be in my hand while I'm playing this game or whatever. So it makes sense to me to invest a little bit of money when it comes to these personal experiences, right? These informational experiences, because I have used a carrot to smoke weed before. I'm rendering the whole experience of me making that carrot pipe. Bug is back. I'll let him be. Making that carrot pipe, like using a drill bit, instead of like using the drill bit like a tool, and like slowly but surely grinding pieces of carrot out of the carrot, and making a bowl, and then, you know, accidentally breaking the back piece off, and then having to start over with the whole, and like, I remember having to do all of that stuff to have the smoking of weed experience. And even though it was, I guess, a little bit rewarding to make myself a pipe out of a carrot and then to use it, it's also bad information kind of vibe, right? Like you feel kind of ratchet. Like there's a certain awareness of your ratchetness that really permeates the experience. And being able to use this one, it feels sophisticated, right? It's like, yeah, actual engineers, people getting paid gang cash, got paid to design this little piece of equipment. It has a texture on the outside of it that I get to experience as well, right? Like they spend the time thinking about that stuff. I can disassemble it and clean it, which I did last night. Cleaned it nice. Cleaned it like 4 times or 5 times so far. It's easy to clean, right? Nice and accessible. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying exactly. I'm trying to connect the information we experience before we experience information as important information, right? Like it's gonna be more meaningful to see the information of someone cooking you a meal than it is going to be of stopping at a drive-through and picking up something from a restaurant, right? Technically, in both instances, you're going to get information, right? The information that is the calories, information that your body is going to use to continue being, right? In both instances, you're going to be getting some of that information. But in the one instance, the information of watching your significant other or your brother or your mom cook you a meal, that is special. That's good information to get before you eat that food. And yeah, we forget about that information in the same way, right? Because of the informational overload. No, no, no. Good morning, Joy V. Thank you for the love-ins. You're inspiring me to look at my seed catalog. Do it. Do it, do it. Do you have a bunch of seeds? Or do you want to buy a bunch of seeds from the catalog? I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to interpret that message. I think a catalog is where you buy things from, right? But I also wouldn't be surprised if you already have the seeds and you have a catalog you can look through to see which ones you're supposed to plant and like which time, etc., etc. No, 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 no. I'm getting there, Joe. Thanks, bless. What do you like to grow, LA? For me, let's see if she lets us know. As many varieties as potatoes as possible. Swiss chard, mustard greens, lettuce, spinach, onions, and then I try growing something new every year. Those sound like a bunch of good ones, though. Stuff that you can easily use in the kitchen. For me, gardening of any kind takes a certain amount of focus that gives me the joy of anticipation. When we take time to set a schedule for growth in my heart, planting a seed, it gives me focus on a level that is usually unhindered by other activities. Yes. I was like really experiencing that energy today as well, Bron, and it fascinated me because it's hard for me to get in that state of being, like the flow state, right? My gardening is dependent upon my efforts and devotion. It depends on so many factors, but it is my personal focus. I'm not articulating myself. You are articulating yourself perfectly, bro. Don't you sell yourself short. What I'm trying to say is it keeps you grounded and simplistic in your manifestation. Absolutely, man. Rabbit saying, I also have a prolific apple tree, plum tree, 2 blackcurrant bushes, and a huge patch of rhubarb. Oh, and tiny strawberries and a few raspberries. They sound amazing. Would you go out into your garden and just eat of the fruit? Or are you a pick of the fruit and bring it into the home to then eat of it later type of person? I am curious. Give me the information, please. Okay, stop, please. Please, Mr. Bug. I know you want to get laid, bro. I know. I know. I understand. But try later. Try later. You're super loud, dude. Like, I'm 50 times larger than you and I'm making half the sound. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Suddenly the calm washes over me. Can you show us your bags, Mel? Yeah, let me bring you one because it won't actually pick up, where I have them right now. Your dad is making his own vape, metalworking. I'll see if it works out. Yeah, the fresh potting soil makes me ridiculously happy, right? The amount of times I have taken soil into my hands and gone, is kind of surreal. Melty, is the cocoa core shred up super fine or is it still chunky? It's like a little bit in between. Don't forget to grit that stuff a little, and the chunks are too big to grind that stuff. The chunks are too big. Like they're relatively fine, right? Fine enough that there's no clumps, right? Like I think the clumps are the problem. I'll show you now, dude. Carrot, potato, apple, soda can, water bottle, and a metal pipe. I wear my ratchet metal with pride. So I've done carrot, I've done apple. I've done apple as well. I haven't done potato. Uh, I haven't done soda can. I've done water bottle, and I've done metal pipe. I have smoked out of someone's pipe that he made out of an old golf stick, right? Like it had like a metal chamber. Also super ratchet looking, but it did the job. It did the job. Okay. Apple pie for the win. Never used a carrot before. Any poured in a storm, Joe for sure. I've got a worm compost bin. Such healthy fertilizer and smells so earthy fresh. Yes, man, these things make me happy. Right? Like I feel like it's almost unreasonable how happy just reading the words compost bin makes me. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, these people are composting their scraps. Look at that scene. Hot diggity damn nature. Oh yeah. Nature is so sexy. Wow. I'm coming back. I'm gonna get one of my bags. So you can see with your eyes what they look like. I'm gonna bring the one of a plant in it actually. As I said earlier, I have one little sacrificial lamb. This little plant is going in the bag first. I'm going to see if my nutrients ends up burning her. If all goes well, it won't. It shouldn't. It shouldn't technically, but I'm also doing a test against those little pots to see how quickly this one grows. There we go. Oh no, my flower. My flower just fell out. Okay. Let me do like so. And there we go. There's a little lady. I hope it's a little lady. This exposure looks so bad. It does kind of like push it together, and when you put it back down, it does kind of fold out. But that's like that's my soil quality. So I like to make a bowl. And then these ones are still pieces of that like composted manure. See, it's nice and dark on the inside. This is a rock. Beautiful dirt. I miss that. Yeah. This is some good stuff. I hope at least this is a little happy little plant. She looks like she's doing well at least. We'll see as she continues growing though. All right. Now I'm gonna have to go wash my hands again. I'll give you friends this scene. You delete your message, Kristen? No, I want to see them. I want them to see them. What beautiful dirt. Soil looks perfect to me, brother. Maybe a little wet, but I know you just rolled it out. Looks good. Exactly. Yeah. It just came out of like the drum basically. So it has like a little bit of conditioning still to do. Like the other 9 of them are technically filled to the same level as this one is. And this plant is technically going to have to be replanted somewhere else because she's not one of my genetic ladies, to say it in so many words. So she's basically just going to be a tester. She's going to let me know if the soil is good. Washy, washy hands. I am a dwarf and I'm washing me hands. Washy, washy hands. Washy, washy hands. I am a gardener and I'm filling my pots. There's some cows in the background. One of them is inside. Not technically supposed to be, but I think I've already chased her outside and she instantly came back in. So I don't know where she's getting in, but she seems to be determined. My tortoise makes fertilizer for me. Nice. It was a lovely and unsuspected gift from my new friends. Melt, I bring in lots of apples, rhubarb, and last year I had enough plums to do a big harvest. I also made lots of jams and jellies to sell, but the black currant raspberries and tiny strawberries are not plentiful enough. So I just go out and snack on them. That sounds all of it wholesome. That mic has long range. It does do pretty well. Like I think 250 meters is like my max, but then I have to be facing the camera. I think I have to be facing the camera for that. Coco core. That's what I meant. Pretty smooth, but no chunks. When you roll the mix in your hand, exactly. Like some of them are still a little bit chunky because of like the compression, like the actual pieces of manure, dry manure, is sometimes a little bit chunky. I did try to break most of them up between my fingers, but the ones that stay a little bit bulbous, I don't know if it works that way, but I'm going to hope that it's going to act as like some sort of slow release fertilizer. Maybe like as the roots start growing around them, they'll break them apart or try and extract some of the good stuff. I also have mycorrhizal, so like I'm actually gonna use that stuff this year too. No. I'm happy that the soil looks good, especially since Joe Schmo, is a knower himself as well. Like me and my dad, I don't know if we had a fight necessarily about it, but he got super defensive, right? After I like spent a bunch of like a few hours yesterday working on this stuff, uh, I came back into the home and with everybody in the kitchen, and like I mentioned that our soil is pretty heavy, right? Like an observation I came to. I'm like, yes, we have pretty heavy soil, and instantly my dad gets defensive, and he's like, no, I've grown some of the best weed on earth. Like that's literally the line he dropped on me. And technically, it was pretty good weed. Is a gateway is here. Hey, Jules, it's nice having you. Like we had our weed tested. It had like 27.6% THC, so it was like really strong bud, right? But he took some of my seeds, which is very impressive to get that kind of like result from backseed. But still, and he grew that, and then that is kind of like what gave him those results, kind of vibe. And then he mentioned like the soil is the reason that we got those high results, and I'm like, no, Dad, that's not actually how it works, dude. Technically, your genetics make much bigger difference than the soil does, and kind of like going back and forth of that. Like, dude, maybe I can give you a. Nah, it's okay. I don't want to wash my hands again. Yeah, love is true. I'm happy that you like the soil, dude. That's basically where my mind is going. Where I'm like, yeah, I did good job. I mix soil nice, because the way I think of it, like if I was a plant, I would want to grow in that soil, right? 100%. I would love growing in that soil right there. Perfect to me. Dixie won't stop chewing her food. So I have her in my lap to keep an eye on her. And boy, I can't type like this. Dixie won't stop chewing her food? As in, she keeps chewing it instead of swallowing? Am I the only one who is viscerally surprised by this? Like, one of the things that I actually dislike about dogs is the fact that they don't chew their food, right? And this is, like, of course, my own bias, but this is a pet peeve, right? When I watch a dog, when I give a dog a piece of like biltong, for example, biltong is like nice meat, you know? You can only really taste it by chewing it, getting some saliva involved. And then they just swallow it whole. And I'm like, bro, you would enjoy it more if you actually chewed. And Dixie, oh, melt foot, not food. Won't, won't stop chewing her foot. Oh, where they do like that. Okay. I mean, I went into the fractal nonetheless. Maybe I was supposed to talk about it. Happens again to you, Gateway. It's nice having you here. Who grew the better pot, Dad or you? Uh, I mean, again, I guess it's subjective, right? Like, I knew the bud that he grew. I already had the bud that he grew before he grew it. So I already knew what it was like. So in my mind, it was like the weed that I got. So I feel like the fact that I'm going to get good genetics this time around, and I'm following all of the processes, and I'm going to give my girls a proper cage to grow in, you know, to like support their branches. I feel like the fact that I'm doing it right is going to give me the right, almost like conditions to make a proper judgment, right? If this bud that I grow right now turns out to be on a level that I haven't actually tried before, if the stuff that I've grown at home, then I'm going to very, you know, specifically know, you know, the difference that genetics makes. So right now, I feel like I'm not actually too informed. Like the bud is good, right? My dad's bud was good as well. Like I basically planted all of those plants, and then I went to China, and I was in China during that time, and the plants, you know, didn't stop growing, obviously, and my dad kept a bunch of that, and then I came back from China, and then Adam came and chilled with me, and then me and Adam grew a bunch of plants again, and then that year's plants, in my personal opinion, Joy Vive, the plants that me and Adam grew, I mean, me and Adam were here growing them together until they were like this big, right? Maybe like this big. Like they had 4 nodes, but they were like this big. And then I planted them into the actual garden. And then I spent the time kind of taking care of them. I had like some buds of those plants. One of them, because it was like a bag of 100 seeds and a bunch of different strains ended up coming out. It might have just been a different phenos, but a bunch of different what looked like strains came out of that same bag. Some of them were like purple, so purple that the bud, after it got cured, looked like it was burnt. Like that was how purple it was. It was almost absurd to me, and it had this amazing, like herbally, uh, like thick herbally flavor. You know, I don't even know how to explain it. There's probably a terpene to describe it. You know, it was delicious. And then another one that was like called Funky Monkey. It has this like very visceral funk to it, like a stink almost. You know, like you just got thrown with something at the zoo kind of stink, you know, but in a good way, obviously. Uh, and then I had some, what did I call them? I called them like indica, you know, because I could see in the leaves that it was a very indica dominant plant. And it didn't have that great of flavor other than just like strong wheat terps, you know, like myrcene kind of terps. You know, and like that year's grow overall was, in my personal opinion, the best bud that I've ever smoked. But again, you know, it felt a little bit chaotic, and I didn't know what I was growing, and I also lost a bunch of my plants, and a bunch of my plants ended up, you know, not getting harvested, and yeah, it was like a whole thing. I need help. I was growing like 20 plants, so it was technically my fault. I had 100 seedlings, so 20 was still a loss in my mind. Awake when I should be asleep, but love to see this family. Big love to you all. Love to you, Jules. Thank you for joining us for even a moment. Last day of the year. Have a good new year, you know? So we'll see you in 2024 again if you're going back to sleep. Heavy iron in the soil can swing both ways and depends on how much additive is in it. By using nitrogen or potassium, sometimes you need to unrich that good rich soil. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, like only one little emmer, right? Like a container this big and that thick. Only one of them goes into that actual bag. The rest is composted manure and cocoa coir. Cocoa coir has no nutrients in it whatsoever. So I feel safe doing 50-50 cocoa and manure, and then I feel safe adding a single unit, right, of like the soil as well to keep some of that richness, because we do have very iron rich soil. Like our soil is literally red, like you friends have seen it. If I point the camera there, you can see. I don't know if it's clear from here, but that's like red soil. Maybe I should. No, bro. Like I'm way too involved right now. Like a part of me wants to like run around and show you friends things. Himmelster son. Melt is dyslexic. Let us forgive him. This is true. I actually am dyslexic. I've been diagnosed. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm BD dyslexic, and I guess TD as well. I feel like it's more of an excuse than anything. Like I've spent so much time reading that I don't end up making the same mistakes I used to make when I got diagnosed with dyslexia, right? So I feel like I don't really have a foot to stand on. Now that I'm really thinking about it, sometimes it's best to just leave it alone and let Mama Gaia do her thing. Often she will help you the most when you stop trying to fix the system. The moment you let go is the moment she blesses the crop. And then bam, we're getting high again. Bless, bro. I mean, like, let me just show you what I mean. Let me just show you what I mean. If I go here, right? Like this soil isn't bad, but this is me putting pressure on it, right? Like my thumb cannot pierce this surface, right? And then if I try and dig a hole, it goes down that much, and then I hit what basically feels like stone, right? Because it gets so compacted. So now I'm gonna use a piece of freaking wood to basically scrape out some dirt. And this is what that would look like. This is like the dirt we have all over. Let me see if I can get to you a little bit closer. Let me just dump my own stuff over. Right? This is the dirt we have all over. And you can see, I mean, in comparison to like my skin color, it's pretty red. But if I compact it, look at that. It becomes like a clay puck. Like this is what happens if you do this. It becomes like a literal little rod. And if you add water to this, just like beating down on this, it becomes so hard that the roots do not want to grow in it anymore and become stagnant. And then they become like basically waterlogged in their own little systems. So yeah, I mean, it's good soil. Things grow in it. Probably happily so. But I don't think it's the ideal soil medium for a cannabis plant. Washy hands. There we go. Skabonk. Back again. This thing doesn't seem very level. It should be fine. Okay. Smells nice. Melty, you understand it. I'm vibing on it. You get what I'm saying, dude. Sorry for everyone else for steamrolling. No, it's fine. Love is true, right? Informational overload. I don't know if we're overloading with information, but maybe this information isn't particularly interesting and you're still getting loaded, right? It's hard to digest and you're still getting loaded more, being like, bro, please. Shit, I've been out, so I don't even realize it's New York. It's New Year's Eve until you just said so, Mel. I got invited to a party. I'm not going. I'm still under the weather. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Joy Vive. Being down in Anda during New Year's Eve is definitely not fun. But at least you have the opportunity to be here with friends, right? We're celebrating with you right now. And none of us are going to get any cooties because we're online. Sick. Sending you lovin's. Thank you for being here with us. I'm sorry that you'll miss your party. It's time for the annual watching of the Futurama premiere. Sorry you're feeling icky joy. Bless. Love is true. Let's pull a card and then we can finish off the last stream of the year 2023. Hot diggity damn. What the heck are they talking about today? Dirt. Getting informationally overloaded on dirt. Yeah. Dirt is good. If not for dirt, our literal planet is called dirt. We live on Earth. We live in the dirt, on the dirt, with the dirt, amongst the dirt. We eat food that cometh from the dirt. You are all dirt people because we are what we eat, right? And the cows eat the grass that grow from the dirt. The cows eat the corn that was grown from the dirt. The corn gets transported by the oil that was pumped from the dirt. Everything comes back to dirt. Yay. I'm fine with it. That bug can sing his little song right now. We're basically finished today's stream. Maybe I'll throw some sticks at it when I play kalimba. It's a good card. It's a romantic one. Green and orange. Wow, that's kind of impressive, bro. It is, in fact, a green and orange card, dude. Ouch, I'm stepping in thorns. Skip bop. Hit the snooze button. Usually lasts like a small little while at least, right? Take him a ship of waters. Get my little book. And then I'll show you the card. Bah! Green. And look at those two rings. They're so orange. There's an orange little butterfly. There's orange little lines. Little turtle. Don't forget about the little turtle. I do like this card. The kiss. The kiss. To be kissed. To be embraced. To be seen, right? Can be seen as an informational overload. And yet, as that information is overloading, it makes the rest of the world disappear, right? That is kind of the point of today's stream topic, so I feel it's perfect. It was just us today, brother. It's way easier when it's quiet and direct. I guess that is true, bro. But I'm not sure we're exactly dudes that only go for the easy, right? Stick throwing ninja. Like I figured out the technique, bro. That's the biggest thing. I just figured out where to throw the stick. Have you told your family of your bug silencing skills, Mel? No. No, I haven't. Maybe I should. Maybe they'll start liking me. They're like, Yasi, Melt can silence bugs. We finally approve of you and your way of seeing the world, Melt. You're such a great person. We acknowledge that all you want is betterment. Let's kumbaya together. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Let's and then I realized, wait a second, am I in a fever dream right now? Are we fever dreaming? Why? So they can verbally fleece him for throwing things. Yeah, that's probably Flint's. Be like, why are you throwing things? You could get hurt. I could get hurt. A few times one of those sticks almost fell on me. A few times those sticks almost fell on my stuff. I saw one of those sticks like when I threw it. I like saw it going for my tablet and my cell phone and my light, and I was like, oh goodness, am I going to learn some expensive lessons today? But fortunately, nay. But I instantly learned my lesson and redirected to only throw in that arc, no longer in this arc. They will celebrate. Huzzah! Melty can throw sticks. Offer yourself the love and respect that you seek from others. The kiss, right? Thank you, Kristen, for reminding me. One more time. Butterflies and turtles. Beloveds embracing the Vesica Pisces. This shape is a Vesica Pisces. When two circles intersect and it becomes a whole new space created. Shadow, isn't that always the hardest part of it? Unfortunately, it is. But it's not impossible to have earthly love and relationship. Beauty and love surround this sweet kiss. It takes place in the shared space where two interlocking golden rings create a Vesica Pisces. The almond shaped, or viewed from another angle, eye shaped center here symbolizes sacred space in which the kiss becomes a union of souls. This symbolic joining celebrates the coming together of whole individuals in mutual understanding, finding common ground, finding common dirt. Love expands through this shared vision, further represented further represented are the marriage of human. Suddenly, I forgot how to read, it seems. Further represented are the marriage of heaven and earth, of light and dark, and of elemental forces. A rainbow, ring, and one of stars intertwine with the gold and suggest that as we come together in tenderness and respect, we will also entwine with universal energies. Relationships can inspire communion that offer us the eyes to see beyond everyday reality into realms through which we may more clearly experience our connection to all that is. This card invites you to take a holistic view of the relationships in your life. See them existing in balance and respect. Look deeply into the eyes of the person with whom you are communicating and see the divine being sitting in front of you. Feel how love feeds you and remember that nourishment, even when your friends are not around. Know that you also share a sacred union with your own heart. Offer yourself the love and respect that you seek from others. Connecting with the feeling of the kiss may take you to a heart space from which to heal old wounds and envision a bright future. That is what I'm taking in. That is the energy I'm taking with me into my trip tonight as well. Right? tuning into the energy of the kiss, to feel that experience of union and imagining a bright future. Maybe just make sure one more time. Heal old wounds and envision a bright future. That is my intentions. Heal old wounds and envision a bright future. By healing my old wounds, will I be capable of showing up for the brightest future. Loving the earth and loving the people comes so effortlessly. Loving the self with the same level of infinite forgiveness and support is not so easy. Fortunately, Brother Bear, we don't have to do it alone. We don't have to love the earth alone. We don't have to love one another alone. And we don't have to try and love ourselves alone as well, right? Know that there are other people, me, for example, that are also trying to help you carry, right? Help you be loved so that you don't have to love yourself, for all of it, at the very least. There seems to be like some thick clouds washing over me as well, so it might end up raining for me. Let me get this little microphone situated, and then it'll be kalimba time. Any second now, I'm gonna be doing it. Any second, it's gonna be just clickety, clickety. There we go. That's it. Cling, cling. I don't mind the way that it looks behind me, but it feels a little bit overexposed. Maybe I should just do it like so, and then I'll move back a little bit and then play kalimba. I have to walk closer to this one to stop it though. But this is gonna be the best way to get good exposure with me in frame. I don't even know if I'm in frame, but I'm sitting down here. I don't know how well you can hear the alarm going off, but let's get back close. There's like some sort of bittersweetness that I'm feeling as well with this year coming to an end. Dun, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, bow, ba-dum, 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 dum, bow. Yeah, suddenly light. For our last little bit of the stream, infinite blessings to you as well, Brother Joshua. Thank you, bro. I'm back. Cell phone died. I'm on computer with a keyboard now. Much better. A little bit more able. What am I missing about the Futurama premiere? I don't know either. Sam did say rewatching, so maybe it's like a New Year's thing to watch Futurama premiere or something. I don't know. Sounds like a Sam thing. Sounds like fun as well. Futurama is a classic. Okay, all right. Are we ready to have some conversations? To say goodbye with all of these lovin's? Our Shan message has been sent by Jovan. It goes something like, have the most informative day, everyone. You are, for realsers, so super massively and very muchly macho grundo celebrated. Masterly Meltmore, and all of you, oh so very sacredly, benevolently, respectedly, powerfully, impressively, resplendently, revitalizingly, vibrantly, awesomely, auspiciously, authentically, wholesome, humanimal critter creatures, filtering the information that can overload us. Love is true. That's such a nice Joified Shan message. Shanified Joe message. Loveified Bum Samsam Lim Shimlish. Love is true, friends. Our year has come to an end. For me, I have like 6 hours, give or take, left. You friends might have a little bit more. Our friends in Australia are already in the new year. It was a good one. It wasn't perfect, but all of us are alive, right? We're still breathing. We're still showing up for love. And I look forward to continuing to do so into the next year with you, friends. I'm feeling the bittersweetness of this year ending too. Some really shitty things spark some major healing, but it's always a process, as it always is. Bless. Thank you for the heartfeltedly for the daily messages. Thank you for thanking her as well. Jovan, thank you for picking up the torch of these Shan messages. So much love to you and your family in this moment. It's crazy, these journeys we find ourselves on and the checkpoints that force a moment of reflection. Happy New Year to all of us. You hearing that? Seems the universe is giving me a Happy New Year with a bang. With a thunderous bang. And some rainy falling on my head, hopefully. I'll celebrate with the earth for a new year as well. Resplendently. Goodness, I love that. Hey, Google, define resplendently. Resplendently, attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. Man, I like that word as well. Try and say it. Sumptuous. Man, I feel 50% fancier as soon as I say that word. Sumptuous. I want to say sumptuous more. Tell me what sumptuous means. Splendid and expensive looking. Ah, yes. I walk out of the dressing room with my new fit, and all of my homies start clapping, and then they put their little pinkies up to their mouths and they go, Melt more, you look so sumptuous. And I'll be like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do look sumptuous. I specifically went for the sumptuous, you know, as opposed to the lavish, to the luxurious, to the deluxe, to the opulent, to the magnificent, to the resplendent, to the gorgeous, to the splendid, to the grand, to the extravagant, the lush, the lavishly appointed, the Palatial. That's a nice one too. I like that. Palatial, resplendent, and sumptuous. That's what I want for my experiences next year. Blessing you, friends, with all of that palatial sumptuousness. Extra love is coming your way right now. 50% fancier. Instantly get a fancy, buff. I get to mingle with rich people for 55 minutes, without them asking me what I do for a living. That's like the buff. The premiere episode of Futurama takes place on December 31st, 1999. Fry's a delivery boy, and he's been given a delivery to the local cryogenics laboratory where things go wrong. Yeah, he gets mafreezed for a while. We're watching it together on Discord or separately. Maybe maybe that could be the way. We all know that one, Joe. We skipped that episode. The dog one, yeah, it's too sad. Yuri wants some camera time before the year ends. Did he take some? I don't know if he's close by right now. Love is true. Thank you, friends, for joining me. Oh, Jurassic Bark. Yeah, that one is gonna break you if you watch it, Lozana. That one is like cry material. Rubbing elbows with the fancy folk. You be the fancy folk. Aw. Jovan blessing me with 1111. I mean, 1111 is a call to manifest something. So I manifest a new year where people start becoming a little bit more awakened to the truth of our unity. As AI becomes increasingly more capable, more powerful, we'll realize that what is truly important is human lives. With all of the extra abundance that will be created by these new systems coming up, I manifest, wish for us, hope for us as a species, as a world, that we actually use these pieces of technology well. That we touch lives instead of ruin them. Thank you for a beautiful year, dear friends. I look forward to showing up tomorrow again on another new year with you, friends. Oh, Lovasana, you blessing me too. No, listen, stop. Stop. Instantly, my mind is like, oh, you friends are so cute. And then I'm like, wait a second. Am I worthy? Thank you. Thank you, Chauvin. Love is true. Love is true. If that ain't it, then I don't know what is. I'm spamming hearts in chat right now. Because Disney owns Fox, Fry is a Disney princess, 100%. These dogs just took off after the row cow behind you. I just come here so I can feel as fancy as all of you wonderful human animals. I'd love to watch Futurama with you guys on Discord. I mean, I could maybe see myself starting, but I might end up disappearing at some point, when things kick in. I'm gonna go and kick myself into a new state of being. I look forward to showing up again with you friends tomorrow. I'm probably gonna be a different person again. But so would we, right? So would we. We're never the same person from one moment to the next. All I can hope to do my whole life is melt more. Yeah. Yeah, what a trip, right? Year 3. Done and dusted. We did it, friends. Year 4 coming up. Of course you're worthy. Oh my goodness, do you know how much people pay for yoga classes? And what I've been doing it for 10 months? Yeah, it's true. It's true. People do pay a lot of money for yoga classes. Thank you, Lausanna. Joy V being like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, you want some 999? Thank you, Lausanna. Thank you, Chauvin. Thank you, Joy V, for blessing me with abundance, dear friends. What a good way to enter a new year, right? What a good way to enter my psychedelic state of mind as well, where I'm like, bro, people care, people love, people are willing to share. Thank you for that, dear friends. All right. Futurama it is. Joy V, if you and Sam take the time and I'll be there. Free yoga, what the hell? I guess he does it for love. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But of course, the fact that you friends show up for it is the thing that baffles my mind, not the free part. Love is true, my friends. Melty is the constant reminder. We are the constant reminder, right? I am Melt. There is more of you friends than there is of me. Together we become Melt more. An entity that shows up for love, right? That's our thing. That's our thing. That's what we're going to enter the year 2024 with again. Love, Kristen, love is true. Thank you. More 1111. I see my friends healthy for the new year as well. Toasty Malosi's little croissant. No, not croissant. Creton. That's the one. Toasty Malosi's little creton is going to start growing up. It's going to start becoming a little bit more of a person. It's going to start smiling back at his dad. I'm going to be living in a new space. I'm going to be working. I'm still kind of emotional about that one. I'm going to be growing marijuana plants. My hope is to cover my rent with these plants. That is my hope for the year 2024. Yeah, love is true. Such a bright chat, right? Like these bars you friends have had like put these pillars of financial support into my life, right? And like I extend things into the extreme. So sure, you might think one thing or another about these dollar values, but those dollar values are now going to become a part of my energy field, right? And I'm going to use said energy field in the same way I try to every day to try and make more beautiful in the world. So you friends choosing to invest in me, it means so much more than I can articulate. Thank you, dear friends. That's all I have to say, right? I want to start doing backflips, bro. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. It's like, have I earned my wage? Love is true. Thank you, friends, for proving to me as well, without a shadow of a doubt, that that is a fact. Melty, thank you for making this year insanely lovely for me and introducing me to all of your amazing friends. Love is true. Loazana, thank you for taking the initiative, for showing up, dear friend, for believing yourself worthy of this group of friends, for not leaving. All right, it is a co creation. Melty, you have healed many people since I've met you, brother. That is no small task. I have a lot of help. I have this cool dude called Joe Schmo, this beautiful, being called Jovan, Joyviv, and Lozana, and Sam. And, I could go on indefinitely, but I've had so much support this year. You friends have done so much more than I could even tell you. I look forward to continuing to do this cool stuff with you friends. I'm excited to see what else happens here in this space. It is going to be an interesting lens to watch history unfold through. Start doing backflips and hundreds starts rolling in. Don't threaten me with a good time, Joviv. I don't know how to do backflips on level ground, but if there's hundreds of dollars on the line, I'll break. I'll be half disabled for like half a week or something. Paralytic in the bed. Lols, do a trick. Love is true. Okay. I'll just stay here with you friends. I'm having too much of a good time. I bless you. Thank you for joining me this year. I look forward to embracing a new year with you friends. Sending you blessings. Does he know card magic? I don't think so. I mean, no, technically I don't. Like the card tricks, the sleight of hand stuff, nay. Nay, I do not. But I do love you, friends. Yeah, that's all the cards I have, All of my cards are just hearts, you know, all of them. I have like 7 cards, and we're playing poker apparently. We're playing, Texas Hold'em. I have 7 cards. All of them are hearts, of the same shape. So I'm like triple cheating or something. Love is true. I appreciate you, friends. I'll see you again soon, tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Sending you blessings.